All right, let's start with this thread. I'm an average collegiate runner. If Grant Fisher took a year off, could he beat me in the 10,000? John then texted this out to us. We're on a text chain with higher up in the running world. And I just couldn't believe he was taking this seriously.
Well, let's set the scene for this guy. The poster, sober as a gopher. So I'm guessing, maybe he runs for the University of Minnesota, something like that. He said I can run around 29:30 for 10K. So I'd say you're a better than average college runner if you're running 29:30. I know that super shoes have bumped things up, but that's pretty solid time. I keep training as usual, going through this track season and then cross country. Grant immediately stops running but maintains an active lifestyle. Hikes, casual bike rides, pickleball, basketball, whatever. But he's not actively training for any sort of endurance athletics. We meet a year from now on the San Juan Capistrano track. Is he smoking me? By how much?
Okay. Now you've ruined the drama in this because to me, there's actually two answers to this. If you just look at the title of the thread, if Grant Fisher took a year off, could he beat a 29:30 guy? The answer is absolutely not. No chance. And that's what this shoe exec said with us. He said, he'd run 30 plus. The old bet used to be, if Haile Gebrselassie is in a pair of jeans and a hoodie and you're in your running kit, what distance could you beat him in? And I agree. If Fisher's not doing anything, this is laughable. And I thought that's what John was saying, that he could run 29:30. Then you read the thread, he's allowed to have an active lifestyle, and he's already in 26:30 shape to begin with. Under that bogus criteria, I think he could probably do it.
Well,
No way.
It's
No
not going to be
way.
any.
No.
All right. At least we've got Weldon pushing back because Robert, I made this exact point. You didn't even read the thread apparently because I said if he maintains an active lifestyle, I'd say yes. He was a national champion in high school in footlockers his junior year, 2013, splitting time between cross country and soccer. So he wasn't even training full time. And he's 26:30 shape. Well, he was in Paris. I don't know where he is exactly right now. But I'm kind of assuming we're taking like peak Grant Fisher. If he's staying active, then I think he can beat him. And if I'm not 100%, but I think he would. I think Grant Fisher would win that matchup. But I said if he doesn't exercise at all, I think Grant Fisher would lose. But you still think, even if he maintains a somewhat active lifestyle, Grant Fisher would lose this race, Weldon?
Yes. Unless he's doing some regularly running, or you let him train for maybe 2 weeks, maybe he could even do it. But no running, like his first run. I don't know. Maybe is he actively playing soccer or something like that? Then maybe. But otherwise, no runs, and he goes out there. I think 0% chance. Now, unless this other guy chokes it up and slows down really a lot. Maybe this is an aging thing, but I went out there. I guess I was over 40. I'm playing soccer all the time. I think, I'm going to run a marathon. I ran 28, and I always needed to train a lot, though. Some guys are naturals. Then I started training. I could barely break 3 hours. I wasn't at Grant Fisher's level.
How old were you?
41 or something?
Okay,
you're 41-year-old.
You hadn't trained for seriously in a decade. Like Grant Fisher is 28 years old in his prime. Like
I'm confident enough. I would float. We're gonna do this. We're gonna raise $500,000. We'll tell Grant to stop running for 2026. What's he gonna be training for anyway? So this is it, Grant. This is your last season. We're gonna have this match race. This is what the sport needs. The sport needs.
When I see the active, I feel like he's going to cheat. He likes to play soccer. He's going to play soccer twice a week. I mean, if you're playing pick-up basketball hard, you're going to stay in decent enough shape. But I was stunned. I called John Kellogg, and he said, I think he would win. Then he said, well, it depends on what active means. And I said, what if he does nothing? He's like, no, I think he'd have trouble breaking 32 to 33 minutes. But John told me that once he heard about a surfer He admitted he didn't know if his story was true. He did no training, went out and ran a 5,000 meters one time in 14:11. He's also aware of a high schooler in California right now who went out and ran his first 3-mile cross country race ever, ran 14:41. So,
Yeah. And think about Grant Fisher. He's not some undiscovered talent who just happens to be amazing at running. He's one of the best humans in the world. And he's already got like 10 years of super high level training under his belt. So you think he's going to, that's going to melt away. He's going to lose 6 minutes in his 10K? Or I guess, Weldon, you're saying he would lose 4 minutes in his 10K by even saying relatively active. I mean, I think maybe he'll put on a little bit of weight and that's going to help hurt him, but I don't think, yeah, I just don't see it. Like, I also think of like these other sports. All right. If you told me a prime LeBron James took a year off from playing basketball, but he gets to stay relatively, fit playing, pickup soccer or whatever. And then the next year you asked him to play one on one against some, middle of the road college kid, then the college kid would get destroyed. Everyone was saying Tom Brady, oh, his first year out of the NFL, like he's still better than half the quarterbacks in the league. He doesn't have any
John,
practice. Now those have more skills than like pure athletic based performance, like running. But is that what you're going to say, Robert? It's more skill based.
well, I was kind of hoping for the reputation of Let's Run. You weren't going to make that analogy. You made that analogy to me on the phone. I couldn't believe how you said it because it's so stupid. Like basketball is a sport. It's a skill. It's not endurance. It has nothing to do with, of course, LeBron would kill the average college player 101 if he didn't pick up a ball for 2 years.
You need the athleticism to make it work. With like the skill helps. I think it's not the perfect analogy. Like running is
It's a
essentially.
terrible analogy. It's far from perfect.
All right. Well,
LeBron's huge, John. He could just outmuscle so
yeah.
many people.
Okay. Fair and fine. You're poking the holes in my argument, but I don't know. I mean, you take the number one running. You take Saquon Barkley. All right. He's an amazing athletic freak, but he's not like Derrick Henry style where he's just bigger than everyone else. You take Saquon Barkley, say, hey, you can just jog around for the next year, and then we're going to put you, behind a pretty good college offensive line. Are you going to outgain the next guy? I feel like he kind of would. I just think that you're underestimating how good these professional guys are. Like, do you realize how insanely talented Grant Fisher is? He holds every American record from 3K to 10K, 2 bronze medals. That's just he's gonna have 4 minutes melt off in 1 year. I don't know.
You don't think he could run 29:30 with no training, do you?
What do you mean? Like I mean, I'm basically saying I think if he
Grant
doesn't
Fisher
run
never
for the
runs.
next-
Grant Fisher. Okay, we'll take the other analogy. Grant Fisher has never run in track and field in his entire life. He played soccer in high school. He plays one pickup basketball game a week, and one pickup soccer game. One soccer match a week, and he goes on a hike with his girlfriend on the weekend. That's his That's his physical activities. He goes out and runs a 10K. What do you think he runs?
This is like this is an alternate universe where he's never taken up running.
Correct.
I mean, that case is probably it's somewhere in the 30s. It's not 29, 30. But that's not the universe the hypothetical question's asking. The hypothetical question, he gets all of the hard training he's done.
At my nephew's 8th birthday party, I guess it was my other nephew, my nephew's 5th birthday party this weekend, I met a guy who qualified for the Boston Marathon. So I was asking him about it. I said, hey, man, how'd you train? Because he wasn't a runner. He was a field goal kicker at Boston College. And by the way, he said he kicked 60 in practice. He said everybody can kick 60 in practice. And he wasn't even like the starting kicker. And I was curious, like, I always said the money's in coaching like amateurs. I said, well, how did you train? Like, where'd you get your workouts from? He said, I didn't do any workouts. What are you talking about? Like, you ran like 3:04 in the marathon with like no training for the marathon. He's like, yeah, I just like really active. I was like playing like softball in the age 25, after work in DC, and I would run to work. He would run 12 miles back to work and back, and just no workouts, and ran 3:04. So kind of interesting.
Guys, running is an endurance sport. With the no training, there's zero chance he does it. He hasn't, but with this one, we're starting him out. He's at 26:30 fitness and then doesn't run for a year. Johnny's not losing 4 minutes. This guy used to lose 3 minutes and 1 second in my book. This guy, I'm giving confidence in this Minnesota Gopher kid that he can run 29:30.
Oh, I think he might be 29:10. He said he's going to train for another year. I expect him to be faster a year from now than he is right now.
This guy's got to get better.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it track and field. A sprinter. Take some collegiate sprinter. Do we think no training for a year, Noah Lyles beats him in a sprint?
Ooh. Like a middle of the road collegiate sprinter. I think he might. I could see it. I mean, all right, this is totally crazy, but I still have serious questions about the timing used in this story I'm going to tell you. But do you remember Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta? Usain Bolt showed up to one of those expos and he ran like a 4D in like sweats and training shoes, and it was like tied the NFL combine record. I'm not sure how accurate, if that was an FAT split or whatever, but that was when he'd been retired for more than a year at that point. I don't think he was continuing to train all that much, and he still had it. So extrapolating that one somewhat questionable 40-yard dash, I'm going to kind of say I think Noah Lyles could beat that college sprinter.
Easily. On this one, I think the sprinter easily does it.
Wait, the sprinter wins or Noah wins?
No, Noah wins easily. Excuse me. All right, enough of this hypothetical. What's no longer hypothetical is the Tokyo Marathon field.